around 8 years of experience working with Java, Java 8, and I've been working with Spring Boot framework and Spring. Along with that, I have been working with microservices architecture, and I have been working with JUnit and Mojito framework for code coverage. And along with that, I have been working with MySQL and SQL databases. With MySQL, I have experience working with Oracle and MySQL, and then with NoSQL data.
You can you enable that?
I think it's enabled. 1 second, let me just check. Okay. Oh, I think I guess. Yeah. Yeah. Can you see me? No. Sorry, my camera wasn't. It went into off.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So as I mentioned, like I have experience working with JUnit and Mojito for the code coverage and Spring Boot framework along with the microservices architecture, and with the pipelines I have working experience with Bamboo, Harness, and Jenkins, and with that even I supported in the production deployments and go lives. So coming to my current project, we are here developing a legacy. We are just transitioning from legacy M2 application into two Spring Boot applications. So we are responsible for sending out the emails, push notifications, and then uh, push SMSs. So for push notification and email bridge, we are maintaining the common code, and we use at the rate conditional on the class as an annotation to differentiate the code, and we pass in um, the application name. We differentiate with the application name. So we pass in the pipeline as a variable, and then we are responsible for taking the message from the MQ queues, and then we are responsible for putting that into the RabbitMQ, which we use it as a messaging broker. And along with that, I have worked with ETL Informatica for extracting the data from the database and putting that into GCP. So I use Informatica Power Center 10.3, 10.4, and 10.5, and along with that, I've been working with uh, an internal application which was built on Struts. So we have been uh, upgrading it to it's an UI application. We have been using the React JS, and we have been modernizing that application as well. So along with that, I have been working with some Linux scripting for like invoking the Informatica. As I said, I have been working with Informatica, right? And I've been working with some Linux scripting for like uh, m- moving the files from one server to a different server, and then uh, data cleansing, such as we have like some data coming in, so which we run the batch process every day. So there are some issues with the batch process currently. So we are doing some data cleansing using Informatica. So yeah, that's about my current project.
Okay, nice. So you guys are mentioning about push notification, right? So what purpose you use?
Yeah, so okay, as a business, so as I mentioned, for email and push notification, so we have this unique code which we call it as a com code. We maintain the list of com codes in the DB. So depending upon a com code, we either send both email and push notification to the client, or push notification or a message. So push notification is like to the mobile, and there is a message center insert and message center delete that's happening. So the message center insert is whenever a customers log in into their account using the browser, there would be a notification tab, and so as it says message center insert, we sent out a notification of any transaction that has happened to the account, or any wire transfer or any shares that have been brought or any password related change that happened to the account. So whenever they read the message, right, a trigger would be sent back. So the team would send us a message center delete. So whenever the trigger happened, uh, we'll be doing a message center delete, and the notification goes away whenever the customers re-log in or refresh the page. So that is message centers. And same way, if they are having some mobile app, we do the push notification push. And for emails, we use a third party API called Strongmail API that is responsible for sending out the emails. And so along with that, we do have this SMS that we sent out. So all these are like different type of notifications that we sent out to the customer through our applications. And we have, as I mentioned, there is an e-tracker application which is internal to our company that is used by the product owners and the POs. So they will be getting the data from both SQL and MongoDB. So the metadata would be coming from the SQL database, and there will be an HTML format which is sent out to the customer, right? That is being stored into the MongoDB, and that is being uh, shown in the UI using an hyperlink, and we'll be able to see the HTML page. And for that, we use a RedPu V2 application, which is a different application. So we'll get it as a zip file. That zip file contains all the uh, message ID. The message ID is a unique identifier for the metadata coming from the SQL table, and the metadata coming from the HTML coming from the MongoDB. So if the MongoDB doesn't have the HTML, right, we don't display the we display the row with the metadata, but there won't be any hyperlink to view the HTML page. So after we put our message from our application to RabbitMQ Rise, which I mentioned as a message broker, there is a different application. Uh, so that takes up the message from the RabbitMQ, and then it does the validation of account ID, customer ID. It should be a valid customer ID and account ID with the 10 digits, and then we use regex pattern to verify the email address. And then we do the, as it's mandatory, we have set some required fields. All those required fields should be present in the XML for sending out the email. And for push notification, we have this internal message ID delete, which is message internal ID, which I mentioned that there would be a trigger happening right back. So we'll be updating that in the MongoDB as well. It's kind of a switch. The internal ID would be marked it as in when we do a message center insert, and then we change it to message center delete, and we change it to Y after the delete happens.
Much. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's make something in Java.
Yeah.
How long have you been working in Java?
Like around 8 years in Java.
Okay. Okay. Can you tell me about functional interface and
the Java 8 feature, the functional interfaces, and the Lambda image? You mean?
Yes.
Yeah. I think the functional interface is like it's primarily used, which contain one abstract method in this case. So basically, it actually introduced in Java 8 I mentioned. So uh, it contains only a single interface methods, unimplemented methods. So
Okay.
the functional method, so it counts a functional method because it contains a single method, and that method is not implemented in it. So uh, also
Okay. So what is the use of like having the single abstract method in the interface?
okay, having single abstract method in the interface, right? So basically, the main use case that you want to encapsulate some of the code into a method which accepts some values and as an input parameter and editors, and the other values after performing the required operation on the input. The input parameter on the return type of the method can be either like same or different. That is the main use of this.
Okay. Can you give me some examples
For like lambda
for function?
functions.
Yes.
Okay, so you want it as a like in my business or like in a technical view?
No, you just give me some. Actually, there are many functional interfaces available in the Java library, right?
Yeah,
Can you give me some examples, like?
yeah. Maybe the main example of the functional interface is that there are a number of interfaces available there, as you mentioned. You can also have the comparable interface which is available. So Java has got a couple of them. So basically, I would say comparable. Primarily, there is comparable and the fixed functional interface. So basically, apart from that, we have got the functional interfaces which may be, uh, let's say, convert it, contain any number of object class method. So the functional interfaces can be like a slam, which is a single abstract method in the functional interfaces. And let's say actually I have a couple of functions inside that, and this also been using as interface to extend some specific method, and then function interfaces can also make sure that we are able to print out some specific values out of that.
Okay. Um, have you come across predicate?
uh, Predicate, yeah, yes.
Yeah, what is that?
So in Java, using the predicate, so basically predicate is actually a boolean value function with one argument that is actually using the test object, and uh, can actually return to the predicate if the best uh, if the test elements are equal according to the object, right? I would like to say this functional interface is assigned to the target and expression, and also use the method interface inside that, and also with the functional with the function inside the object. So what happens is that the test element is that was in in the Java implementation with the interface, there is a generic function representing a single argument function, and that is the boolean values with the predicate implemented interface, which is generated, and interfaces, and then add them to a specific located Java function util package, and then also as a parameters inside those.
Okay, fine. So in stream, actually we have streams, right? So in stream,
Yeah.
we have so many functions available, right? So can you tell me about, like, which are comes under intermediate functions, and why it's been called intermediate functions? And can you tell me about terminator functions and why it's called terminator function?
Yeah, basically the main Java stream. There are a couple of Java stream intermediate operations like filter map, flat map, distance stored, peak limit, and skipped. So what happens in the case is that in the intermediate function that a return stream max, or you can have a stream executable any number of intermediate operations, but the terminal operations are going to be running inside that. So what happens is that in the terminal operations will be able to be a kind of validate uh, specific streaming API, and say turn on the explicit callbacks. So the filter operations returns a string consisting of elements of stream that matches the given predicate. So from there we'll be actually using the filter predicate, and then use a functional interface and number of checks uh, uh, of the numbers which is greater than that. So apart from that also we have some specific callbacks and uh, red date, so which can be treated inside the constraint API. So we can also use this on the Java predicate cast terminal value with the class cast exception.
Okay. Um, in Java collections we have tree map, right? So which use case you would go for the tree map?
Okay, use case for the tree map. Yep. So the map is basically which provides efficient mail storing key value pairs in the stored order. So the important points about the Java tree map is basically is that it contains the values based on the key. It will be when the navigable uh, map interface in the extreme, it ends the map. So the tree map in the Java is used to implement the map interface and also make sure that we are able to have non-synchronized in the sense of map accessed by multi-threads current concurrently, and at least on one of the thread which modifies the map structural. So this class is a member of Java collection framework and also does not allow null keys and does a null pointer exception thrown however. So multiple null values can be associated with the different keys.
Okay. So we have in Java collections we have a set interface,
Yeah,
right?
set interface, yes.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Set interface doesn't have any get method.
Uh,
Why
yeah,
is it so? Why the set interface doesn't have any get?
yeah, I think the get method in order because uh, there are some implementation, so import is required and there is so the method is used to check whether the set contains all the elements present in the given collection or not. So in the effectively retrieve the elements from the set, because the get method uh, to have the map will find the element using the effective hash table. So in the get method we get the specific value inside the net, and then we get the elements from the set.
Okay. So um, can you tell me like the use cases for array and array list and the linked list? When you go for array list and when you go for the linked list?
Yeah, so yeah, basically the main implementation use case for the relation linked list is that uh, internally uh, it uses autonomous carry to sort the elements and increase usually use it double linked list to solve the elements. uh, I would like to say basically the object can maybe where it start. Yeah, so think linked list is better for implementing the data, where the array list is better for sorting and accessing the data. Array list, the memory location of the elements of the um, array list is contagious, whereas the linked list location of the elements of the linked list is not contagious.
Okay. Okay. In Spring Boot we have auto configuration, right?
Yeah.
Can you explain me about this auto configuration?
Okay, auto configuration in the Spring Boot.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. The auto configuration is actually used for doing a couple of things. It basically attempts to automatically configure your Spring Boot application based on the jar dependencies which are available. This auto configuration is the main focus of the Spring Boot. Basically, it uses the content-based annotation acts as the base of the Spring Boot auto configuration inside it. So let's say you have like H2 database jar which is present in the class path, and we have not configured any beans related to the database manually. So for the Spring Boot auto configuration feature automatically configures it's into the project. You can enable the auto configuration feature by using the annotation and then This does not use uh, because it is like wrapped inside the Spring Boot application. So the annotation Spring Boot application is a combination of the three annotation components and can as well be enable auto configuration and couple of other which can be used inside the synchronized API data. And finally, what happens is that we can actually use a Spring Boot component and can actually get the configurations of the data points inside it.
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, actually, give me a minute. My kid is crying. Give
Yeah,
me a minute. I will do that.
yeah, sure.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. 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 A little bit missed about data configuration. Can you tell me again? Like, mm,
Yeah,
can-
so I think yeah, so I think you want me to repeat about the auto configuration of the last part about the H2 driver and adding it to the class path.
Yeah. Okay. Basically, yeah. You just tell me like we have configuration in Spring Boot, right? Like
Yeah,
we can configure any string
yes.
using configuration notation. So how is it different from auto configuration? When it's being called as auto configuration?
So okay, the main difference is that auto configuration and the configuration is that the auto configuration uh, completes the configuration class and runs last, meaning that after all the non-regular auto configuration classes run, while in the order will be running their Spring Boot. Uh, is all about the magic. So what happens is that you can add the dependencies to the class and stuff just work together. So
Okay. Okay. Fine. So I just give you a scenario like
yeah,
you want to delete a resource and you are exposing in a delete API. So for delete API, in case of success, what is the HTTP status code you would return back to the client?
success it would be 200.
Okay, so 200 would work. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
So you consider best practice. What would be the code you would use?
so the best practice I would say that if you are doing 200 or 202, uh,
To go to is what?
202, okay, 202 is you mean like what's the status of 202 and 204, like different, what's the kind of different status?
200 is okay, right?
Yeah,
So what
200
is
is okay.
yeah? Same way, like what it means 202.
200 is like the request is accepted. 202 is indicates that while the request is accepted, the process has not completed and hasn't even started yet.
Okay. So do you saying like you would go for best practice? You would go for 202, like for deleting an API,
Uh,
deleting a resource.
Deleting an API. Yeah, I would say 202 would be the best practice. I would go for 202.
Okay, fine. So how do you secure the API? Currently, how you guys handling like securing the API?
Securing the API. Uh, so I think we can use the authorization headers. We can also use a cookie session. So we can also use the auto API keys with the client side authentication. We can also use a basic authentication. Uh, but that's so basic. So we can also go with the client side certification authentication, which can have a public private key pair, which can be utilized inside that. So once that is done, the next step would be actually going and validating on the runtime environment with the data points, I would say, and can also use the auto API, which are really good and easy way to use the uh, API's key secrets to the client.
Okay.
And
Okay, fine. Can you tell me like the design patterns you have worked?
different design patterns I have worked.
Yes.
Okay, I have worked with like factory design patterns. I also say that I have worked with other design patterns like uh, like factory pattern. I would also say that I have worked with Spring MVC, MVP. I have also used a singleton pattern in my environments and try to also explore a couple of other patterns like creation pattern as well as decorator pattern. We also used each of them on the runtime environment.
Okay. Okay, fine. So I just ask you one kind of uh, logical question, logical element.
Like scenario
It
based.
is how do you solve it? Okay.
Oh, sorry. Can you repeat that? I think your voice faded away.
No, I just ask you on something coding kind of like I just want the logic. How do you solve?
Okay, you want the logic of. Okay, yeah, sure.
Okay. Um. So you have a you know about singly linked list, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So in a singly link, we have a singly linked list.
Okay.
So for that, you have to expose an API to delete one of the element in singly linked list. Okay.
Okay, delete and.
So
Okay.
yeah. So you will be having you have to implement an API delete, which will be having a arguments like only one parameter as an input as the element which has to be deleted.
Okay.
So it's a links of nodes, right? Like each element you consider as a node object, right?
Yeah.
It contains date and the link to the next element, right?
Yes.
So we'll be getting a reference to a node which has to be deleted. So how do you put a logic to delete it?
Yeah. So basically, first of all, uh, like so. Okay. Uh, if we try to delete from the beginning, right? Then from or from the end. So the head to the previous element, that is the last second element, and then change the next to the pointer to the null, and then I'll use a struct node in those case, uh, which will be for the pointer head node inside it. So from there we can traverse the linked list until you find the node you want to delete, and this solution provides a pointer to the head node, and then from there we can actually use a specific data which can be used on the delete node inside the next element. So from there, once the pointer adds, we can contradict this with the specific create linked list environment, and then also add them with the delete node data. So once the head node is deleted, then we can expose it on the API and pass some arguments to the API and link that part to the previous node and find the address index of the specific node which needs to be deleted from there, and we'll be able to add an address to the starting node and then work on the delete next node, which will be deleting the specific node on the runtime environment.
Mm. No, I didn't get your logic actually. I just want in simple words like
Okay.
so you're receiving the node which has to be deleted. So
Yes.
just I want specific logic. To the point. Like
Okay.
how do you delete?
First of all, we create an API which will be exposed. So in this case, we will traverse the linked list until you find the node you want to delete. But this solution requires to be pointed to the head node, which contains the.
No,
Okay.
1 second.
Yeah.
So you cannot traverse actually. So
Oh, you
okay,
can't.
you have understand a little bit
The,
about my like
okay.
the the problem here is so you won't be having a reference to the head node at all. So
Okay.
I mentioned right. There is it's a delete API
Okay.
which takes the parameter which has the node which has to be deleted. That's all. The the node which has to be deleted is the only reference you have.
Okay.
Using that, you had to delete. I just want the logic. How do you delete that node which you receive as an argument?
Okay. Without the reference to the head node. Okay. Uh, we'll what we can do is we will copy the data of the next node to the data field of the current node to be deleted, and then we can move one step forward. So in the case the current node has become the previous node, right? So we can do this is one way. Apart from that, we without the head node pointer, we can also make sure that we can just simply go and find do a search inside the link list. So if we that is actually a null node, we can just find uh, and traverse through and then use the dummy data pointing inside that. So inside that dummy data point that's pointing right, uh, we could use an increment pre-link list inside that, and then use the node instruct to add the data point. So once the traverses are completed, we can actually work on the dummy data feeds and set it on the application data point.
Okay. 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 Fine. So Spring Boot, like sorry, not Spring Boot, the microservices. So have you worked with Spring Cloud Services?
Yeah, I have worked with Spring Cloud Services.
So what are the features or cloud services you have worked? Like there are many tools available under that, right?
Yeah, so like I think I think Spring Cloud has like a lot of features like routing, and you also have to get the service to service calls. You can also have got the service breakers and circuit breakers. You also will be able to enable global logging as well as a leadership election on the top of the cluster uh, state, I would say.
Okay. Anything else? You have. I'm just asking what have you have worked.
Okay. Other than that, I think that like how we use like Spring Cloud in our current project, because I think we haven't worked with like Spring Cloud in the current project. Maybe this was like a general idea of Spring Cloud I have.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Okay, fine. So what API gateway you guys using?
API gateway we are using, like I think using like Spring Boot, and it also we are using like Amazon API gateway.
The AWS API gateway?
Yeah, AWS API gateway.
Okay, fine. Can you tell me like the you mentioned about the circuit breaker, right? Can you tell me about the circuit breaker?
So yeah, I think the circuit breaker is primarily used. Uh, I think make sure that we are able to potentially failing method and actually add there. Basically, it could prevent the calls to the microservices when it is uh, known to fail. So when a microservices call to another microservices unable to respond, right, it can actually encounter it, and so rather than encountering it better, uh, like circuit breaker, right? So we can use a circuit breaker state in this case, and
Okay,
uh,
okay, fine. How you guys using Swagger?
yeah, Swagger, yeah, for yes.
Okay, I mean, what purpose you using that?
I think we are using Swagger API for testing. I would like to uh, test like the REST endpoint. So we primarily use it for uh, like we use Swagger for one documenting like REST API, like the post calls and the gate, and so for REST APIs, right, we are able to use this Swagger primarily to know like basic testing of the API. Apart from that, we are also using it as like API documentation, which I mentioned, right. We document the post endpoints and REST endpoint and the structure and everything in this using the Swagger.
Okay, fine. Okay, Sai. That's all from my side. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, like I would like to know like what technologies like the client would be using, and what would be the team size, and what would be the daily responsibilities, and if there is an on-site model or like on-site and offshore model. A little bit about the project.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, I mean, okay. I don't have any information about the project and the team and all. So it's the technology wise, it's all microservices.
Okay, the microservice. And I think in the JDI you mentioned that they would be using like Spring Security and Spring JPI. So is that all like they would be using from the Spring side, or will there be any other modules or any other frameworks we'll be using, and if there is any UI part involved in the project?
Yeah, like see, it's mostly it's for backend, I think. Uh, so you will be working like you may need some of that cloud services, Spring Boot cloud services like this circuit breaker, fine client,
Okay,
something, all those things, and yeah, most of the Spring Boot related.
yeah. And what would be the CI/CD pipeline architecture you would be using? Like you will be using like Jenkins and deploying it to PCF or like any other CI/CD
Yeah,
pipeline.
Yeah, it's fully automated. Like yeah, you it's a big process they have implemented here.
Okay.
Yeah, it will start with Jenkins and the release management. There is a change request involved, and there is a release lifecycle.
Okay. Even for like QA deployment,
Yeah,
like lower environment, we need like change requests to make any deployments. Because like normally we do change requests for like production releases, right?
yeah. Here actually after dev environment, you have to be change request to promote to
Oh,
higher
okay.
environment.
Like we don't do it on like normally we in our current project we do it on the user story level. Like after we develop it, after the testing is done in the development, we use a pipeline to just deploy into QA. Do we deploy on the user story level or like combine like couple of user stories and then
It's combined actually.
okay.
Here the sprint is every month we have a sprint. So
Oh,
every month there will be a release. So
okay. Yeah.
whatever you develop the previous sprint will be deployed in this current sprint, current release. So
Okay.
whatever in this sprint will go in the next release, next month release.
Oh,
Like
yeah, I think you meant I heard is a sprint 1 month long. I think normally we do like 2 week sprints, right, in Agile.
yeah, here it's 1 month. Yeah,
Oh, okay. So and is like it's an offshore or onshore model or like is a testing team is also from the on-site.
it's an onshore offshore one.
Okay.
Definitely yes.
Yeah, I think that would be all from it. I think you have mentioned like is there any UI part involved in the project or it's completely on the back end?
It's that there is a UI actually. There is a mobile client, both iOS and Angular, and also there is a sorry iOS and Android, and there is Angular application. Everything is there.
Okay.
It's that specific to that particular team, like
Oh, okay.
whether you be
I
involved in UA as well. But this position is mostly
on
involved with backend. If you have more interest in the UI side, like you can ask the team. Like
no,
you can do.
just because I think my current project, right, we would be like it's kind of a support team. So if there are any production issues, the they can't fix it directly. Then they create a story and send to us, and then we work on them, test it. So that's why I get to work on like different tools. Like I worked on UI, ETL, and Linux scripting. So yeah, that's the reason I asked. And is there any scripting and any scripting language used or any scripts that we have to work on?
The that and all like will come part of platform team.
Okay.
Yeah, if you are going under platform team,
Okay.
may be there. But
Yeah.
normally, if you are in normal microservice application side, then it depends on that particular team. Like
Okay. Yeah. And is I just wanted to ask, what would be the team size?
it's not like 10 to 15 members.
Okay. And I think in the job description or till the interview point, they haven't mentioned me the client. Is there any way you can let me know the client details or it's confidential?
I think it's for the Citibank.
Okay. Citibank. Okay, Irving, Texas, right?
Not sure. One sec. Citibank.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, I think that would be all from my side.
Okay, thank you very much for
Yeah.
your time, Sai.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Thanks for your time. It was nice talking to you.